welcome back to Ball Talk with me, Lewis Bryon, and today I'm joined by pro goalkeeper Ollie Webber. Ollie, today we're going to talk all about managers, and what managers get up to, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Obviously, for reference, we both played in the academy and as pros at Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of the same managers.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
So firstly, what managers have we played under? Go on, you can start.
Well, for me, the first one when I first joined, Alan Pardew was there.
Yeah.
So we had Alan Pardew as the first team manager. Then it was Sam Allardyce.
Yeah, Sam Allardyce.
He came in to replace him, didn't he?
Yeah, I think it was Pardew, Allardyce. Then
Roy Hodgson.
Yeah, no, we had Frank de Boer after him.
We did have Frank de Boer, yeah.
He come in, for like 6 weeks.
Yeah,
we'll get onto the managers in detail later, but I actually really like Frank de Boer.
Yeah, so did I.
But he just lost 6 games in a row and got sacked, which weren't great. But
yeah, that's right. Yeah, then because he came in after Allardyce, then Roy Hodgson came in.
And then Patrick Vieira.
Then Roy Hodgson.
Again. For a little spell, and then it was Glasner, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I was gone by then.
I was gone with Glasner. So quite a few. Notable names.
Yeah, some big names.
We'll get onto our favourites and why later.
Yeah.
Okay. But go on to youth team coaches. Okay, so what were the youth team coaches like? Were they hands-on? Were they more hands-on than you thought? How were they about?
I think youth team coaches are more hands-on than first team coaches because they've got to develop the young talent, don't they, and make sure they get their points across. But we had a few youth team coaches that are a bit mad as well, don't we?
Yeah.
Lost.
Who's coming to mind?
Paddy McCarthy.
Paddy McCarthy, obviously ex-Palace captain.
Yeah.
He was like, his first job in managing really was us as under 18s, and he was very hands-on and intense. Is the right
very
word?
intense. But he was really good. But he still had that player cap on.
Yeah.
Where he was very million miles an hour and lost his rag very easily. Then I think when he came, he got moved up to be the 21s.
A couple years later,
he was a different person, much calmer in his approach, and still a really good coach. But because he just retired and went straight into coaching, he kind of still had that player mindset, and took him a while to adjust to it. But he was a bit of a madman at the start, wasn't he?
I think that's what a lot of footballers, like ex-footballers, when they first go in, they all do have their player cap still on. But I think what's good about having an ex-player as a manager, although they'll come into it and not be completely transitioned, they have that competitiveness and willingness to improve and they can improve really quick.
They do,
which Paddy showed. Within 2 years, he was like a completely different manager.
He was, yeah.
So I thought he was great. Who else did we have? Who was your favourite pairing as a non-first team coaches? Because one that stood out to me was Richard Shaw and Reddington.
Yeah, Dave Reddington, they were good. Because
I think you need to have two managers that contrast in styles a little bit. Like a manager that is, Richard Shaw, for example, was the manager very hands-on, one-to-one and personal, and would give you individual sort of tips and tricks.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And Dave Reddington then would be sort of the team tactician.
Yeah.
And, set plays or patterns of movement and stuff like that would really help.
Yeah, they were good. I also liked my last year when Paddy moved up to 21s, him and Darren Powell. That was a good. Powley. That was.
I need to get Powley on here. Yeah. He's a good character, and Paddy, to be fair.
Yeah, those two were good.
Good partnership.
Good partnership. I liked working with them. They were good.
Yeah. So, what would you say the differences are between an academy coach, a typical under-18 academy coach, and a first-team manager?
I think you have a bit more of maybe a relationship with an academy coach.
Yeah.
I think they take a bit more time, put more effort into you as a person, because you're still a young kid. Under 18, you're 16, 17, 18, so you're still developing, you're learning the game, learning being a professional. So I feel like they kind of take a bit more time with you as a person and your development on and off the pitch. Whereas obviously first team's all about results.
Yeah.
And you're more mature, you're an adult now, you kind of can be left to your own devices, so they don't have to babysit you really. Well, I feel like academy coaches can do a little bit just because they're trying to develop you on and off the pitch.
Yeah. I still think as a first team coach, you do see some really good close relationships.
You do.
It's business, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And like I said, their job's on the line. If you don't do the business for them, they're sacked.
Yeah.
Next one, where at academies, obviously, it's a bit more of a stable job. They can put more time and effort into other areas where maybe a first team manager might not be able to.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Let's talk about some of the senior managers now.
Yeah.
So, for you, was there any surprises with the big name managers we mentioned at the start, how they were either in training or day to day?
Well, for me, obviously, Sam Allardyce was interesting because he kind of let his assistant do majority of the work, and he would just sit in the office, or sometimes he wasn't even there.
Yeah.
I don't even know where he was, but he wasn't even there.
Sam Allardyce was the first manager that I like properly trained regularly with the first team under. And I remember being shocked that, you know, I'd train with the first team, let's say like 3-4 times of the week. And I wouldn't have seen him Monday to Thursday. And then Friday he'd come out and do like the second half of the session.
Yeah,
it was mainly his assistant, Sammy Lee, that would take the whole sessions. And I was just thinking like, is this normal? Like, because I hadn't experienced the first team level managing. I was like, surely he wants to be more involved. But I suppose 40 or however long he's been a manager, however long he's worked with Sammy Lee, he knows Sammy Lee can take care of that and he'll do the rest.
Yeah, so their dynamics, what worked. I had the same thing. It took me off guard a little bit. I was like, where is he?
Yeah.
Where is he? What's he doing?
Mate, it is mad, isn't it?
And then you see him on the Friday, come out, do the set pieces, a bit technical shape, and then you go and win the game on the Saturday, and it'd be like, and you won't see him until next Friday.
Yeah, but do you think that's more like old school?
I think so, yeah. You do that. Even you hear the old like Neil Warnock managers like that kind of generation, their old school stuff, that's kind of how they managed, and they let their assistants do it, and they just came in at certain times to give their input.
Yeah, but on the flip side, Roy, he wasn't like that, was he? He was quite hands-on.
No, he was very hands-on. That's what caught me off as well. I didn't think he'd be as hands-on as he was, especially at his age. Especially the second stint where he was in his 70s.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
He was running around, kicking the balls in, doing all sorts at his age. I'm going, bloody hell, you've got to calm it down.
Yeah. Sometimes you do think, like, just chill out, Roy. Like, you're getting on now.
But he was good. He loved being involved in it and had to kind of be involved in it.
Yeah, that's just like pure love for the game.
Yeah.
And I think what shocked me about Roy as well is like, he can give bollockings. Like he'd be very animated even with his voice. Like during training, I thought he'd be like one of them calm ones. And it's hard to imagine sometimes, just as fans looking at managers on the sideline, that they can give. You think some managers can give proper like hairdryer treatment, and some won't. Looking at Roy, you probably think he wouldn't, but he fucking
does.
can.
He can.
He fucking can.
We've seen a few, haven't we? He did, and that surprised me. I actually think he's such a calm character.
Yeah.
And you didn't think he'd be, but he could lose his rag, and that's what surprised me about him a lot.
Yeah. What about Frank de Boer? Because I remember training under him, and he's probably one of my favourite managers. Although he was there for the least amount of time.
Yeah.
He's so detail oriented. Like he was obsessed over the smallest little details. I remember doing a passing drill, and you know, like if you're passing it around in like a simple like square, you'd pull off from the cone, take a touch and pass. We were doing that, and like 2 minutes in, he just stopped the whole session. And he's basically pointed someone out, I can't remember who it was, and he just moved them like an inch further back, saying like you need to be here. Yeah. Over 1 inch of his movement.
I know, it's such a small detail.
But that's exactly what he was like, and that's like my style of football. I like someone who thinks about it like that, but I just don't think he had the right squad.
No, he didn't have the right players for it, because he wanted to play out from the back, play that really nice.
Yeah, and the team we had before that was the complete opposite.
Yeah, it was just long ball up to big striker, flick off thing, and so he just didn't have the players to play that style. But his ideas were really fascinating. I say the detail he had was really fascinating as well. And if it would have worked, there'd have been Palace would play some unbelievable football, because he knew what he was all about.
Bournemouth, that's what I think he was trying to go down.
Yeah, they just didn't have Scott Dans and
I remember
Damien Delaney's trying to play out from the back.
Scott Dans can play, by the way. Scott Dans could. It wasn't as mobile. But I remember he signed Jairo Alderweireld.
Yeah,
what a player. But he signed him then like on a 5-year contract.
Yeah.
And that was the first player he bought in his own style. Then 6 weeks later, De Boer gets sacked. And then he's stuck at Palace on 5 years. The next manager comes in, completely opposite style.
Yeah.
And Gyro's just stuck for 5 years. Didn't barely play, did he?
Hardly played, and what a fantastic player he was.
Yeah, he was serious.
From Ajax Academy, wasn't he? He signed from Ajax, and he just could play, but it just didn't suit the other managers, and he hardly played. Yeah,
managers need to get more time if they're going to completely transition the style of play, but he obviously didn't get that.
But it's the Premier League, isn't it? You panic, don't you? Went 7 games without a win.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Palace done that last year. Well, the season is gone. They won the first 6 or 7, but they gave him more time. They gave Glasgow more time.
Yeah, because he sort of proved it the season before.
Where obviously Frank de Boer was raw, and they panicked, and it worked because they kept him up. But I think if he would have given more time and was able to bring more of his players in, he could have had a really exciting time there. Yeah.
What did you think about Alan Pardew? He was the manager as we come into full time.
Yeah, so I didn't have loads to do with him, but I thought he was all right. Again, he was. I don't remember. I think he wasn't that hands on, was he?
No. What did you think about his ego? Do you think he had a bit of an ego?
He had a bit of an ego, yeah.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I remember not that I don't know matters that much. But I remember coming to the training ground, he had one of the nicest cars in the training ground, like a nice flash car.
Yeah.
And you always think to yourself, manager shouldn't have flash cars.
Shouldn't be pulling up in. I'm not saying this is what he was pulling up in, but he shouldn't be pulling up in like a Lambo, for example.
No, it wasn't a Lambo, but I think it was like a Bentley or a Rolls Royce. A really nice flashy car. But most managers pull up in like a Range Rover or
just like a nice like an E-Class Mercedes or something.
But he had a nice car, and you could see he had that even now, and that's why he's when he got the sack from Palace, he's not ever done anything since, really, has he?
Yeah.
And that proven that maybe the point his ego was a bit much, but he didn't have loads to do with him. He was always all right with me.
Yeah.
But he definitely had a bit of an ego to him.
Would you lose respect if a manager pulled up in a Lamborghini? Because it will, like a manager, you get taught this on your coaching courses. You have to think about every way you present yourself to the players.
Yeah.
Pulling up in a Lambo, you're presenting yourself as a wanker.
Yeah. I would agree. I think I would lose it. I'd be like, why are you doing that? Like, you don't need to do that. I don't think anyone needs to drive a Lambo, but like, if you're a flashy player, you can do it. If you're Wilfred Zaha, you can do it.
It matches
anyone like that. But yeah, I just feel like if a manager does turn up in a Lamborghini, we're going, you're a bit of a twat. He's
like
a twat.
If Pardew pulled up in a Lambo and walks out and he's wearing like just complete LV head to toe, like you can't be doing that.
No, you can't. You would lose respect. Some of the players were, he's a twat. Who's this guy think he is?
Yeah.
You just naturally would do that.
And he didn't help himself with the dance as well in the final, and then we lost. But anyway, What about quickly last year on the managers, Vieira? Did you have much with him?
I done the whole pre-season with Vieira. I liked him. He had a successful first year at Palace. Second year, not so much. But it was different. Was
it what you expected? Like obviously knowing him as a player, what he was like. Was it?
A little bit. He was intense, but what caught me off was a little bit as well was that he hardly gave days off.
Yeah.
He was like, every day you can do something. So normally, traditionally, you train Monday, Tuesday, you have a Wednesday off, train Thursday, Friday, play Saturday, have Sunday off. That's normally a traditional week. But he would be like, you can still do, on the Wednesdays, we can still train. It'd be a lighter load, we can go be in the gym. So we kind of felt like we were in a lot more than you would normally, because obviously that was his philosophy. You can always do something. And there's he'd brought in a lot of afternoon sessions in as well during that pre-season.
Yeah, I remember that.
Where a lot of previously first-team managers, you wouldn't do that. You do your morning session, a gym session, then you have your lunch and go home during pre-season. But he was doing afternoon sessions pre-season and during the season, which was different. But I liked him a lot. He was similar to Frank de Boer, wanted to try and play a nice bit of football. And it's Patrick Vieira. He's a legend. You're going to listen to what he says. And I remember the first day, you're a bit going, bloody hell, a bit like, that's Patrick Vieira.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an Arsenal fan as well, so.
But yeah, I really liked him. He's really nice, always really nice to me. He made effort with everyone coming up the train, and
he was very like, when he was training, he'd switch it on, and when it was like away from the pitch, he was quite chilled, jokey, relaxed.
He was, but like, very serious on the pitch. But again, he had a really good, successful first year. Second year didn't work out, but that's football, isn't it?
Yeah. What if you had to pick your top three out of them to play under? Who would you or train under? I suppose.
Roy Hodgson, because he was there the longest.
Yeah.
Patrick Vieira, because he was probably the nicest to me, and probably Sam Allardyce, because I had a bit more time. Frank de Boer was just too short. I didn't train every day. That was only once or twice a week with him. So that'd probably be my three. What would yours be?
Mine would probably be the partnership of Allardyce and Sammy Lee. Yeah. But that's 90% Sammy Lee, who I was actually spending the time with, because he liked me as a player. I liked the way he treated me.
Yeah.
Then I'd go Frank de Boer, just because his style of play, and I like the way we looked at the game quite similarly. Yeah. And then it's got to be Roy, but I didn't. Again, I was injured a lot when he was there. So. Yeah. But yeah, is there one moment that stuck with you from like any sort of interaction or moment with a manager, whether it's youth team?
I remember Roy Hodgson's first day, and we shook his hand, and don't know why I did it, but I called him Roy. Yeah. And he pulled me, went, it's not fucking Roy to you, it's Gaffer, boss. I was like, sorry. So I was like a 17 kid. I just called him like, morning Roy.
You don't think.
And he just held my hand and went, who the fuck's Roy?
Is that what he said?
Yeah, it was like Gaffer, and because obviously that's what he's, Gaffer, boss, whatever it was, and I learned from then. Always call the manager Gaffer a boss, unless they say otherwise. Yeah, so you wouldn't think he'd be like that to a young kid, but it was just showing the respect, the leadership, just going, this is it, and it was fine. I was just a bit taken back, obviously, but then I didn't make that mistake again. He was fine with me ever since. And yeah, exactly that. So, and also, you probably hadn't been in
the first, like with the first team loads at that point?
No, not
so
at that
it's
point,
like,
no.
You pick up these things that you just call them boss or gaffer.
Because in academy football, you call them by their name.
Yeah.
So I just assumed.
Yeah, why do they change that?
I have no idea.
I've never called an academy manager boss or gaffer, but I've never not called a first team manager boss or gaffer.
I have no idea. That's why. So I just went, all right, Roy. And he was like, nah, it's not Roy to you, mate.
That is quite funny, to be fair.
But other than that, I can't think of anything else. But that's one always stays in my head.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. The maddest one I've had probably, if there's a sort of moment that stuck with me, like funny story or team talk. I don't know if you were there, but we played QPR and lost 5-0. Was you playing?
Was that 21s?
Yeah.
I wasn't playing that one.
Was you there?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, right. Well, but there was like probably like 4 or 5 like first team players, like Johnny Williams, so like Slay Kai, and a few others like that. But we were getting bad, and we were 4-0 down in 20 minutes, and like 5-0 down, we lost in the end. And I remember going in at half time, it was me and Gio in midfield.
Yeah.
And he's basically stopped everyone talking in the change room, started screaming, shouting, saying like, you're rubbish, pretty much, in other words.
Yeah.
And then he's pointed me and Gio out, and he's like, the only reason you two are still on this fucking pitch is because I'm not allowed to take the first team players. I've got to take the first team players off, because they're only allowed a certain amount of minutes. So he's basically just said, like, you should be off, you're both shit, but I've got to take these off because they can't have more minutes.
So you're lucky to stay
and then he started throwing the little tactics board chips at us as well. And I was thinking, okay, hell, I must be having a stinker. But with stuff like that, would that piss you off as a player?
No, you just got to allow it.
Yeah.
I've been bollocked so many times. I remember I was on loan at Dover, and the manager, we played Yeovil away. I think we lost 3-1. I gave a penalty away. Nice. 2 of the goals were my fault. I saved the penalty, but two of the goals were my fault. An absolute holocaust, an absolute stinker. And he went around and so did loads of people. He went around the change and went, you were shit, you were shit. Got to me and you are fucking shit. You'll never have a career, you'll never play for me again. I'm on loan at 18 going, fuck. And you're just sitting there, you just got to take it. I played the next week, but
yeah,
it's just
mate, I don't know if
some managers are old school like that. There's an old school manager and just lost it. And you can't say, you just got to sit and take it, and then that's it, done, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know. It depends on the manager, the circumstance of the game. If they're saying to me like, you'll never have a career, I'll bite back, I think.
I wanted to, but I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
I just had a shit game, so I just put my head down, just let him do it, and he was fine. That was it. But I have seen players bite back, and it get quite feisty between a manager and a player before.
Yeah, I think certain managers at the time, they don't want to be embarrassed or have any back chat, but like 2 days later, I think they almost respect it sometimes a bit.
Yeah, they do.
If a player can stand up for themselves.
Yeah, that's true. I've seen that as well. But in that moment, I just head down, was just like,
yeah. Right. I'm trying to think. Was there any like on the training pitch big like arguments you see with managers and players?
I had one as well with Sean Derry when he was the reserve team manager.
Oh yeah.
When we were doing a shooting drill, and they were obviously I'm a goalie. They were from 3 yards out. It was false. It wasn't great. And
yeah.
My head was gone. I don't know why my head was gone. Head was gone. And I just went, this is fucking shit. I'm booted the ball away and all of this. And he absolutely ripped me a new one. Absolutely killed me because I done it in front of the lads. He was like, who the fuck do you think you are? And having a go at me. Then he pulled me after training and went, don't mind that.
Yeah.
Don't mind that. Shows a bit of character. Don't mind that. I had to obviously rip you in front of the lads because I can't have that. But I don't mind that.
Yeah.
And they kind of respected me for it. But in the moment, it was horrible.
I think Sean Derry was so good at that. Like, being like, he could be like your best mate away from the training ground, away from the pitch. Sorry, as soon as you go onto the football pitch, he'll just dig you out in front of everyone, like as if he hates you.
Yeah, he did. Going back to I actually enjoyed playing under him.
Yeah,
probably my best bit of football. Really? Under him, I enjoyed him. He liked me a lot, and I enjoyed. Honestly, like he was good on and off the pitch. But I remember that he just absolutely ripped me new. But then, like you say, sometimes they really pulled me off. So I respect that. I don't mind. That shows a bit of character, a bit of bollocks.
I remember Levi and Richard used to go at it a lot.
Oh my god!
Richard Shaw, the manager. Levi was a player under 21s. They used to always go back and forth at each other.
Always.
Like sometimes he'd be doing a team talk after this training session, and they've just been like arguing for like 5 minutes. We're all just standing there like, what are we meant to do?
But I think that was just Levi's character.
Levi just a moaner, isn't
he? Yeah, he was. But those two, I think they got on well, but that was just how they.
They had a great relationship.
Kind of relationship.
That's probably why they could do that. Yeah. We got these are a couple from the listeners.
Yeah.
Did managers treat us differently? So if we were both there at the same age, would you say we got treated differently?
I don't think so.
No.
Not that I think. Obviously, different positions,
So
you get
yeah.
treated slightly different. But as human beings, I don't think we ever did really.
Yeah, they treat people based off like certain managers. Obviously, they have their favourites, maybe like ability and stuff like that. But nothing like personal, is it?
No, not that I've ever experienced. No.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll move on.
Yeah.
What can a manager do to lose the dressing room, do you think? We've already spoke about...
I've witnessed it a few times.
Really? We spoke about, obviously, Lamborghinis.
Yeah, I don't do that. But it's just like, just bollocking everyone for the sake of it.
Yeah.
I've had managers where just like, you misplace one pass, you're fucking shit, what you doing, fix up. Normally first one or two, then after that you can do it. I've seen one where he's just, even during the game, 5 minutes into the game, say you misplace a pass, you send someone out to warm up, he's coming off, he's shit, he's coming off.
Just too emotional.
Too emotional, effing and jeffing every player, you can't do anything right, and then just bollock everyone. Then you watch the games back on a Monday. You were shit, you were just constantly bollocking everyone. After a while, players go, just fuck you, I'm not bothered.
Yeah,
and then you lose them, they switch off and they just do their own thing.
They're not. If you keep doing that, they're not going to want to play for you. Like they're not going to want to try.
Exactly that, and that's what happened. Or if you're not, sometimes if you're not a good, I think good managers, you've got to be a good people's person as well. And some managers that can't.
Yeah, but you've got to manage 20 odd different personalities differently. That's really. You can't just label them as one. I always think as well, they can lose a dressing room, or at least me lose a bit of respect if they come in and they want to play a certain style, whatever style that is. Fair enough, that's their choice. They get you to sort of play that, and when things aren't going well, they just switch. Yeah, and they've like changed their whole morals and philosophy.
That's a good point as well. I've seen that happen as well. Yeah,
because it's like, well, you stick with the style that you believe in. Yeah. Even if we don't, like, we have to play under you, but then don't just now things aren't going well, right, let me just try and change it and switch to something else, because then I'm like, you don't really believe in what you're saying. Yeah, and
that happened, literally. If you're trying to play out from the back and then you lose 2 games and he goes, right, long ball, you go, well, you do lose a little bit of respect and a little bit of, well, why are we doing that? If you believe in this so much, just keep trying it. It will eventually come good.
And then it's like, whichever one you do now, I'm just like, you don't really believe in it.
Yeah.
We'll go on to, so as a manager, would you rather have someone that you fear or someone like you want to run through walls for?
Run through walls for.
Really?
Yeah.
Does that switch you on more than like almost being afraid to make a mistake?
Yeah. But I think if you're afraid to make a mistake, you're gonna make a mistake.
Yeah.
Because you're playing that back of your mind. If I can't make a mistake, that's when you make a mistake.
Yeah.
If you're going out playing freely, calm,
happy, okay to make a mistake.
Yeah, you're less likely to make one.
Yeah.
So I definitely think, someone you want to run through walls for.
Yeah, but then I'm just playing devil's advocate. On the flip side, if it's like you've got that really good relationship with the manager, obviously you want to try loads for him, but then can you lose that bit of, you don't mind having a little lapse in concentration because you're like, he's going to be all right if I fuck up once? Or do you think that's not the case?
Depends on the person, I think. I think some players could be, me personally, I wouldn't be like that, but there's definitely some players out there that could be like that.
Okay. Right, we'll move on. You're a goalkeeper.
Yep.
Professional goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Do managers treat goalkeepers differently?
Yeah.
Than outfield players?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, sometimes a lot of managers, unless...
What, positively or negatively?
Bit of both, but mostly negatively. It's always, anytime something goes wrong, 9 times out of 10, it's goalie's fault.
Yeah.
Why not say that? Why not do this? Why not do that? You kind of get the blame first and foremost, because it's easy to blame the goalie, which is part of the job. You get used to it, but also they kind of tend to just let the goalies be. Because we've got a goalie coach, you've got your own coach, kind of the manager, go through him to us a lot of the time.
And they won't even speak to him that much. He's just like catching up.
Exactly. Unless it's obviously on the pitch and you're working and something, the manager will speak to you. But if it's something the manager's not happy with from the last game, he'll speak to the goalie coach about it to go to you. So instead of just coming to you, where if it's an outfield player, you just go straight to you. I get it because it's different understanding, but normally they kind of just let the goalies be. Yeah. Until you mess up, then it's
that's what I was going to say. The managers don't speak to the goalkeeper coach or goalkeepers too much directly unless the goalkeeper is fucking up, and then they're like, what are you doing? Yeah.
Which obviously sometimes there's time and a place for that. If you are making mistake after mistake.
But then it's a slight on the goalkeeper coach a bit. It's like, if you only come over when he's messing up because you want to take control and stop it, it's like, that's what the goalkeeper coach is there for.
But sometimes managers get controlling, don't they? Want to control everything.
Because it's their head on the line, isn't it?
Exactly that. So a lot of the time the goalie coaches aren't kind of like, the manager says something, the goalie coach will go, yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
If he's talking nonsense, don't worry about that. If he's trying to tell you what to do in the goal, yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah, mate, surely you don't listen. If a manager, especially an outfield player manager, starts giving you technical details on like saving or something like that.
No, you don't. Sometimes they're like, oh, come for every single cross in the box. You go, well, that's impossible. I can't come for every single one. I would love to, but if I could, I'd fucking have been in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? It's impossible. It's impossible. Some managers have said that, come for every cross in that box. And then you okay? And sometimes the goalie coach don't do it, and you don't do it. Then the manager's like, do it. I've done it. Okay, I did it. Didn't get near a couple. Yeah. Concede a goal. What the hell are you doing? Then he bollocks you and you go, well, you told me to come for every ball. So I've tried to do it. Some are going to get messed up, happen, we concede, and he goes, all right, don't do it again. So normally you just kind of just let the manager say what he wants. You go, yeah, and then don't listen.
Have you ever had like a manager try and say like, oh, save it with this hand instead? Or...
No, I've not had that. No. Not had that. Thankfully, he lets the goalie coach do that. But most managers I've played under have been fine. Just let you be. Yeah. It's a different position, specialised position, so you can't just let the goalie union do itself, and normally that works the best. Yeah. What's the just going slightly off topic? What's the funniest thing a manager's ever said in a team talk to you? Do you think? To me personally, or just like in the team talk to a team, or to you personally? I remember we've had a few good we've had the academy manager. I was just going to say that one. He said a few. I mean, he said about 5 or 6 absolute worldy speeches, which have just like I've walked away from them thinking that is literally nothing to do with our football, and I'm just like, what the fuck's just happened? Has any come to mind? I remember. Was it before the Youth Cup game? So I weren't in this because I was injured, but I heard about this legendary speech. We were playing Liverpool Youth Cup as first year scholar. We played obviously FA Youth Cup's a massive thing for youth teams, and he was giving the team talk, and it was a flock of birds, how they fly in their formation, how the one leads, and then when he gets tired they swap it round. Yeah. He was just trying to use that to try and get us motivated and to be working as a team, but he kind of like lost his way. He just waffled on a little bit. And this bird goes there. Yeah, that's what he was doing. This one goes here, and like, we can do this. And we all kind of just look at each other and what on earth's happened here? We all kind of start laughing and trying to say like stick together as a flock of birds do. But did it work? No, he lost the game, so no. But he meant well, but he lost his way. But he has said a few. But I'm trying to think of any like first team ones. Nothing that sticks out. Normally they're very serious. Yeah. First. Who do you reckon had the best team talks? In terms of motivating, there's one that sticks to my mind. Go on, who is it? I reckon Paddy. Yeah. I think Paddy was very motivating. Sean Derry was as well. Derry was so good. I never played under him in the thingy. But Sean Derry was good. But they were similar characters, those two. Yeah, definitely. Tactical Redders. Yeah. Jack Meeshaw. Yeah, Jack was very good. These are youth team coaches that not a lot of people would know. But yeah, he was very good. Yeah, they were... He did have some good team talks. Yeah. They go about the training ground as well, like days after, saying, listen to what he's just said. They would. Right, these are again from the listeners. We've touched on this a little bit. Most brutal moment with a manager. I've sort of said mine. Have you had a brutal moment with a manager? The one where he was going around saying you've had that. And you're finished. Yeah, that one. Probably. So, most underrated manager. Now we can do this that we've played under or trained under, and one in world football. Yeah, in world football. My underrated one, because he definitely was not rated at Palace, was Frank de Boer. Yeah. Just because he lost every single game, so he's not going to be rated. But I reckon if you give him a year, and then like a whole year to get his team sort of ready, and then come back that next season, he'd be like, you'd see how good he is. I think I'd agree with you there. Cause his ideas were brilliant. It was just a shame it didn't work out. But I think I would agree he was very underrated. Yeah. Do you have one in world football currently? I don't know if Frank de Boer even manages now. I don't think he does. Yeah. Probably ruined his career, didn't it? Unfortunately. World football underrated. I like the Ipswich's manager, Kieran McKenna. Oh right, yeah. Yeah. Obviously they got relegated, but before that, I got back-to-back promotions. Yeah. Of Ipswich, and I've always thought he's quite underrated. I liked him. Yeah, he's a good manager. My one, he's probably. I don't know. It's hard to say if he's underrated, but I still think he could be rated higher. Is Iraola for Bournemouth? Like he's rated by a lot of people now, but I think he's one of the best. From what I've heard from Bournemouth players as well, like everything about him, in terms of like the way he can
like connect with the players, like on emotionally, the tactics, sticking to what he believes in, no matter what. I think he's top, man. He's done sick with Bournemouth.
Yeah, I would agree. Because I remember when he got the job and they sacked Gary O'Neill, everyone was like, "Why have you done that?"
Yeah.
And now we see why. Because I would agree he's brilliant. And Bournemouth, it's Bournemouth. Look, they shouldn't be doing as well as they are. But
now you're sort of that's normal. They're doing that.
Yeah.
Right. Last couple ones we will talk about. But who are your top 5 managers of all time? Now I've got 5. We can go from 5 to 1 each, one at a time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who have you got 5th best manager of all time?
I've got Claudio Ranieri. I think when he won the Premier
Ranieri?
He won the Premier. He won the
that
Premier.
Is outrageous.
He won the Premier Leicester, and he always does a good job. I threw him in there.
Yeah, he's a top manager, but of all time,
I threw him in there.
He done well with Chelsea, was it as well?
Yeah. He done well Roma last year. He's controversial, but I threw him in.
That's rogue shout, but I have to. That's fine. I'll go. I'll go. Oh, see, I've got 2 for my 5th, and I wasn't sure, but one of them's going to have to get left out, and it's going to be outrageous. But I'll go Ancelotti.
Yeah.
Ancelotti 5th, because a lot of people would have him higher, but I think there's 4 better. Simple as. But he's won loads of trophies, isn't he? I looked at his resume, like he's just won everything.
He's a joke.
So many different places as well. He didn't do great at Everton, but it's not really his team. Yeah. 4?
Ancelotti.
Oh, really?
I put Ancelotti 4.
Ancelotti. Yeah. Okay, so you must have. Oh, you've definitely. I know you've left out one that will piss me off.
Properly.
So Ancelotti 4 for reasons we've stated. I've got Mourinho 4.
Yeah.
Obvious reasons. I think he's both his spells at Chelsea, Inter, Porto, is it as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's a joke. Number 3.
Mourinho.
Oh wow! So you just got him one ahead of me, Mourinho. Okay, number 3. I've got Wenger. You've not got him.
No, I've not got him.
Oh no!
It was a tough decision.
So hold up. We've gone top 5 managers of all time, and you put Ranieri over Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger literally transformed football.
He did, and I'm not saying I've just put Ranieri because he won the Premier Leicester. That's it.
Wenger went unbeaten in the Prem with Arsenal.
He's a fantastic manager, but that's what I've gone with.
Crazy.
I know.
Okay, I've done Wenger because he transformed football, even like not just the way it's played, but also like what he done with the diets and getting everyone actually living like professionals, and then unbeaten.
I'm unbeaten. No, that's fair, and I probably will get some hate for Ranieri, but I'd put Ranieri in.
So we've probably got the same number 2 and 1.
Yeah.
Who have you got 2?
Pep.
Oh, I knew you'd do that. You're a Man United fan. I've gone Sir Alex 2, Pep 1.
Yeah, I've gone Sir Alex 1.
What's the reason? Just
Sir Alex Ferguson. He's so doing it for so long.
Yeah.
And back to back and always changing, and I think he's the greatest manager of all time.
And then Pep 2nd.
Yeah. Pep probably will be.
Pep, for me, has definitely produced over consistent years the best football I've watched.
Yeah.
Players who have played under both tend to like probably Alex Ferguson more, don't they? Like,
I think he's just more his man management style kind of.
Yeah.
They prefer, but like I say Pep will go down once he retires and finishes his career, probably the best of all time. Just because like I say the style of play, he's done it everywhere he's been.
Yeah.
But I think for the minute, Sir Alex Ferguson.
I'd give that either way, but my preference would be Pep.
Yeah, I think. But Ranieri, I think it's a pretty fair.
Yeah.
Fair group.
Right, finish off for like a couple more. These will be quick fire.
Yeah.
But would you want to be a manager one day?
No.
No, why not?
Goalkeeper, I would be a goalie coach, but managers just doesn't appeal to me. Too much pressure, don't like the responsibility, don't want my head on
Taken
a knife
off.
at the end. Yeah, so it doesn't. I don't think I understand the game well enough.
Really, yeah.
To do it.
It's just a 24/7 job as well. That's insane.
Don't want to do it. I'd like to be a goalie coach, look after my goalies. I know that. That's my bread and butter. I know that. In and out, and then you can switch off. It's not.
Yeah, you don't see many ex-goalies become full managers.
No, there's only a handful.
Yeah, it's the mainly just goalkeepers.
Because it's different. We understand football, but you don't understand it to the point as an outfield player would, because it's just different positions, different responsibility.
Yeah. Again, these are quick fire from the listeners. Do the managers talk/eat with you when you're having like breakfast and lunch? They definitely don't.
No,
they won't talk to you when you're having your like breakfast or lunch. No. They'll eat with you maybe on the other side of the room.
Yes.
But the only time they'll come up to you really is if they're like telling you about you've got a meeting later on or something.
Yeah, I've not had a manager come sit beside me and have his lunch or breakfast.
Yeah, it's very rare.
Other side of the room, or they come in after.
And some members of staff do though. Like the members of staff they might come sit with you.
Physios, sports scientists, but you're always close to those. They're fine. But
if manager did that, I'd be like, what the fuck have I done wrong?
Even assistant manager would be like, what's going on here?
Yeah, you wouldn't do that. When's the first point of the day you see them? Probably breakfast. If that, really. Sometimes you don't see them at breakfast.
It depends. Sometimes, normally breakfast or maybe in the gym, a bit pre-ab, but sometimes it would just be... Depends on the manager. Sometimes you won't see them, so you go on the training pitch. Yeah,
the first time I'll see them a lot of the time will be on the training pitch.
Yeah.
Last one was, do managers ever come on a night out with you?
No.
I mean, the only time you get that is like the organised ones, like the Christmas parties, they might, for like the first team lads. If you've got a team Christmas party, they will. Surely.
Unless the club do it. But
that's what I mean. Sorry, not like if you go to Winter Wonderland. I'm saying like if you've got like, they do a club party.
Oh, yeah.
Or it's only the club in there. Do you know what I mean?
Or end of season awards.
Yeah, end of season awards. Be a bit
of a party.
But never like, we've just finished, I don't know, we've got a weekend off, we're going out with the team. They're not coming.
No, they might go and do their own stuff for their staff.
Yeah.
But they won't be going out with the lads. They wouldn't want to. If that happened, everyone's career would be done.
Yeah. I'd feel like looking over my shoulder all night.
Like having like a school teacher there or like a parent there. You wouldn't want to make yourself a twat or anything. You want to try and be on good behaviour.
Right, we'll leave it there.